name's Charles Wass. My farm's 10 kilometres west of Coorow, and I've been here just on 6 years. Before that I spent 10 years working in various accounting firms as a full-time accountant, and then before that I spent about probably 10 years again as a crayfisherman. Certainly it doesn't help that I know how to stack a cray pot, but the accounting side has definitely given me some sort of skills, I guess, in managing costs and understanding the costs and the return on investment of different programs and different things I'm doing. So the reason I came farming and stepped out of the accounting world was just the lifestyle mostly. Gives me the ability to be my own boss. If you work hard when there's work to do, and if I need to take a day to go to the kids' sport or do something like that, then I do. And I also enjoy the fact that on the farm there's never a dull moment. There's never something that you can't be researching into or trialling or doing. So it's all keeps my hyperactive mind occupied. So my farm's, we're 10 kilometres west of Coorow. People tell me we're right on the edge of the Darling Scarp, so we've got every soil type known to man. The soil type in a paddock will change from very good red clays to gravels and then to deep sands in the space of about 50 metres. It's a family-owned farm. Myself and my wife run it, sort of with my old man, my father being the owner of the farm, and sort of it's just the two of us. And I think arable hectares-wise, we've got about 1,800 hectares, and I think there's probably about 700 hectares in that I'd consider good cropping country, and then 1,100 hectares it's a bit poorer that we sort of mostly run sheep on. With the farm and there's different soil types we've got, the good soil types have been fairly easy to manage, and you put something in and it grows, and as long as it rains, it takes care of itself. The challenges we've had around some of our poorer soil types is maximising what we can do with them. I did trial spreading chook poo for a 5-year period. I've now sort of moved over and we've built a plozza plough, and we've been trialling plozza ploughing. People tell me that we have issues with non-wetting around here. I get laughed at a bit because I describe my soils as fast drying more so than non-wetting. The top 10 centimetre layer of the soil seems to be very heavy grained and dries out rapidly. Whether that's caused by non-wetting not permeating through it, or whether it's just the years of blowing the fine particles away, I'm not certain. So yeah, the challenging part of that poor yellow sand is that it does have a tendency to blow. So we do have to make sure we manage our stocking very carefully, and we're working to build biomass in the soil, build organic matter, leave good cover on it, because that achieves a couple of things. It stops it blowing, and it also allows us to run more stock while improving the soil, as opposed to sometimes when you run more stock you run the risk of damaging your soils. So with the trial we've run this year, we've looked really hard at trying to maximise the production out of the yellow sands. We've got a paddock that is about 130 hectares, which was pretty much non-productive. Like we weren't getting any grazing value out of it. What was growing there was of no nutritional value to the sheep, and there wasn't enough cover, so it did blow a little bit when the winds got up, even though it hadn't been grazed. So what we've looked to do is attempt to ameliorate the issues that we've got in that top 10 centimetres of the soil, and then find something that will grow and look at different options to see what are some of our better options to get maximum dry matter production out of the paddock, and hopefully turn it into a productive, profit-making paddock. So we've plozza ploughed probably 95% of the paddock. We left a small trial area. We've then gone in and trialled different product mixes. So we've used triticale, Ceradella, a vetch, and then a shotgun mix of all different varieties mixed in together, and a Hicon rose clover as well. So the plozza plough is essentially just a modified one-way plough. We call it the poor man's moldboard plough, because it's relatively cheap to build. You buy a plough and you can construct it yourself. So it's essentially they remove every second disc off the plough and put an oversized disc on. So while you're dragging it through your paddock, it has a mixing action. So it turns the soil upside down and mixes it through. So, and the goal of it is to hopefully bring some organic matter, some nutrients and some finer particled soil up to the surface, and then bury the sort of large grained, non-wetting soil that is on the surface back down beneath. We've definitely noticed that just the action of mixing the soil seems to activate microbes, and we get an increase in nitrogen within the soil profile. We've noticed with our soil tests and digging in it that it definitely does the job that it's built to do. It definitely does a good mixing job. In the actual trial, we've found that, you know, the products we've planted, certainly where we haven't plozza ploughed versus where we have, there's a really stark difference. So it's gone from essentially no productivity at all, or what would send you broke if you tried to crop it, to something that is now producing, what looks to be a pretty good crop, and is producing a large amount of dry matter. I'm quite looking forward to being able to put my sheep in on it and utilise it as a grazing paddock. The triticales performed very well. The rose clover and the cerridellas have probably outperformed my expectations. And then what we have found is where we've put it through as what we'd call the shotgun mix, which is a bit of everything mixed in together, that's probably performed the best as opposed to a monoculture of something grown. But I'll definitely continue the formal trial next year. I've already got plans for different things I'm going to try next year. Maybe put a few different cereal varieties up against each other and see which one produces the most biomass. And then also using my accounting background, I'll do a bit of economic analysis on what the return per hectare is on seeding the paddock versus not, and how much dry matter production I need to produce to make it an economically viable option. Farmers tend to trial different things on the farm, but very rarely are they a structured, well set up and organised trial that would give you sort of confidence in the results. And I saw this project as an opportunity to ensure that the project was run properly and that I would get repeatable results that we could have some confidence in. I've enjoyed pretty much every meeting that we've attended, because you get to sit around with 6 or 8 other farmers, whoever can make it, and have a chat about what you're doing on the farms and how different things are going. I think every time you chat to other farmers, you're always learning something. So it's nice to have those conversations. So yeah, it has been a really interesting project to run, and I'm very grateful to the West Midlands Group and the Liebe Group for the assistance they've provided me with this project. I'd encourage anyone that's looking at doing the Gen Y project to get involved for next year, and I'll certainly be keen to be involved next year and do some new trials and continue to build on the knowledge that we've gained this year.